有的人问我，你为什么不拍中国的黑的一面，中国的不好的一面？你为什么不拍？
I read the New York Times. I've noticed that the coverage on China has become more and more negative.
Most people in the Western world have a lot of misunderstandings about China.
We wanted the international audiences to experience China authentically.
I was talking about people living in the nature and without a special period.
I guess all of my friends say I have some yuanfen with China. You know, when you do something which you love, which you are meant for, which is your yuanfen, when do you really work? You don't. You're just having fun. It's a great blessing.
So, do you see me clearly?
Yeah, very clear.
My virtual background was discovered logo.
Yeah, it's good. I came here for the first time in 2001 to do a film which I was invited by what was called then SAFT. I think we are in the background. Okay. And obviously, the Academy knew it was a discovery. So actually, people they were recommending good friends and very good directors.
Also in the other countries. 我跟 Vic 工作是从2004年开始，他认为所有的这些项目，他之所以能这样，真的都是因为他特别喜欢，而不只是说这是一个工作。
Yes. And each project was also very special, not just for the topic, but also because it allowed me to meet and make so many friends. And some of them went on to become really good friends, deep friendships which have remained since then. And through those friendships was another way of coming to know this country. There is this stereotype that Chinese people are shy, or if you put them in front of the camera, they won't exactly appear to be Hollywood. Changing China was a film which we collaborated with director Cheng Gong.
这节课咱们还是要复习一个高考比较重要的知识点，就是那个丝绸之路。先看两幅图。
I knew he had that ability to bring out ordinary Chinese people in this manner.
好包啊！我脸这么光滑，如丝绸。
It is a fact that Chinese people are shy, but they're not shy to talk if you can find the way to collaborate with them.
你现在的情况很危险，你不可以星期一再来。
But how is a new generation in the 21st century carrying the spirit of this old culture, but reinventing it and taking the story of this culture, this country, to the next stage? And when we made the film, it was made in the context of the 70th anniversary of China as a republic. We thought the time had come to tell the story of China's development, particularly through its young generation. I know that you will have a much easier time telling what's going on in China if we can put ordinary Chinese people and their sincerity and warmth and authenticity straight up first.
Maybe my father not picking up.
Yes, my father. mother sent me some messages, so I also send them some photos. So, but through WeChat or through WhatsApp, I can still check how she's doing. But both my parents are quite energetic, so they don't think so much, do what they will. We all do what we can. So, that's keep regularly in touch. Or just share some stories. Also, my mother sharing some stories from her side. Some videos, like that. More than 2 years ago, when I lost all my parents. Yes, it's quite, I come from India. That's, where I was born, and that's who I am from my cultural standpoint. India and China are perhaps the only two countries we can genuinely be compared to each other. We are billion people countries with very complex histories and cultures. When you discover a country this way, it is truly special, through its people, through these projects, through these, films, which allowed me the privilege of understanding so many things.
So it's like if the ocean comes up, all the boats sort of go up. That's the general plan of economic development, and that makes sense. But President Xi has taken it to a new level. But now there are still some people, because of geography, maybe in mountain areas, or because they have infirmities or disease, that it's not going to work for those people. So we have to have a targeted approach.
It's through these experiences, starting with China Time of Xi, we figured out that the best way to achieve it is to make them in China with our Chinese creative community.
It's not just the building the pretty buildings and growing the economy, but it's people's lives that are most important.
When the American sort of led world order created a particular logic, and then that accelerated from the 1980s when globalization became the dominant form of engaging each other in the world, and China came out of that process, taking advantage of globalization by participating in it and using it to create a particular kind of model, which became an inspiration for so many other developing countries, right? It was able to lift so many people out of poverty, it was able to create wealth.
有的吃，把劳动有的吃哦。
他是我想1年半之前就通过社交网站联系到我。
Hi, I'm Yeux. I'm a comedian who spent half my life in China and the other half in the United States.
他对中国人的思维方式比较了解，也想把中国的一些文化呀或者成就介绍出去。
Each project allowed me to enlarge a circle of Chinese friends.
Oh, nice.
Through them, I actually understood the small bits of real touchy-feely things about China, not the big stuff, but the everyday stuff.
尤其西方国家，他对中国的偏见很强，他就觉得我非要找到一些中国的东西，能够让就其他国家也感到震撼。你比如说318那一集，他就在公路上找那些采蘑菇的人，通过这个公路给他们自己家的一些田园经济也好，或者是民宿也好，带来很多生机的这么一些故事。通过这些故事呢，来讲中国变化的故事。Oh, the word 家
Yes.
Underneath it is a pig.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and go bronze.
That idea was born literally, standing in one of the, locations in the desert in Ningxia. They wanted us to see the deep efforts which go back 20, 30 years to greenify the desert.
Guo Changjang is a very representative example of local farmer, the next generation.
Good morning.
Can I see that again? Just the big after the title graphic. Called Made in China for the World. It's based on very clear debates, discussions, sometimes arguments early in the process of designing the idea together.
你们为什么不做？你们为什么坚持了？
这是我们的家园，我们离不开。他们说，我们现在不治沙，将来我们的子孙后代没饭吃。那么，只是说93年的这个文物沙尘暴，对我们来说特别的伤心，我们的损失特别的大。 我特别的心酸，我们不能多苦多累，要把沙质这小一点，要沙尘暴离我们远一点，绝不能再让沙尘夺取我们孩子，特别痛心。
I kind of use the example of being good baristas, how we make great coffee. So sometimes. Our Chinese partners can bring us the beans and we can be the baristas. But we do it together. I guess we have to commit them to.
Yeah.
I think it's straight down. There's a very old-fashioned movie theater in that area. Yeah, very. I want to see a movie there, but I've never seen one. But it's very classic old movie theater inside the Hutong. I really love this building. It's much nicer if you see it in the day. It's really gorgeous, and it's still, it's a real theater. So I'm sure it's very interesting if you go in and watch a movie. It's very different from the shopping mall movie theater. All of us with our unique understanding of China, the same spirit, whether it's inside or outside, is expressed either ways, whichever way you look at it. Through these projects, I got the opportunity, and it's been a privilege of my life, to be able to experience China in this authentic way, in this real way, and ended up going through different breadths and corners of the country. We need to all reset and take the lessons of what nature and what things are, or the changing cycles of time are trying to tell us. What a great time to be able to use the real-life entertainment method or documentaries to communicate these changes.
My name is Malcolm Clark. I'm a film director from the UK.
At your bearings.
And the Oscar goes to?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. For the past several years, I've been living in China, making films about China. Through my films, I can bring China and the rest of the world closer together. I read the New York Times, and I've noticed that the coverage on China has become more and more negative. I do feel that there is a kind of a predisposition editorially in the New York Times to look for negative stories about China, particularly American, but also Western. China is stronger militarily, stronger economically, stronger academically. All these things predispose reporters to question whether or not China's renaissance, China's rise, is a good thing or a kind of existential threat. People are now trying to play what in English we say gotcha journalism. So journalism which says, ha-ha, we found a mistake, we found something that you've done wrong. I made a film some years ago called Better Angels. What we were doing was trying to make a film that had to show the positive benefits to the world of China and America working together.
When we think about the one place that seems to be doing us better than we're doing us, it's them. People go to China to get a glimpse of the future now.
Fear and mistrust of people you don't know.
For us in the United States, that's threatening.
We're not yet enemies.
To make the better angels of our nature dominate amidst a maelstrom of events.
I don't like bullies, I don't like violence. I despise the idea that, someone should be discriminated against because of the color of their skin or their accent. It's wrong on so many levels. It's hard to kind of get my head around it. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum.
他其实在生活中是一个非常平和的人，很幽默、很风趣，也非常热爱生活。所以我们在他的作品里面，经常也会看到他用就是没有带着偏见的眼光去诠释那些人物的关系、人物的故事。
原本我以為我哋會。
Keep going. No, go back. I'm sorry, there. People are not props in a movie. People are the raw material, what they feel, what they think. Best documentary films, in my opinion, are the films that get people to be emotionally accessible and emotionally honest. And that requires a huge amount of trust. Drive Like a Girl was about a young woman who had seriously improved her circumstances by taking a job as a truck driver. Despite the amount of prejudice and resistance to seeing, someone who is this size driving a huge truck.
看哈。另外还是全女看穿，全。
到时候跟他也改。
我也能开上4个圈圈。
男人的傲点，女人的低傲，孩子的傲里傲。
I don't think that audiences in the West are being told the Chinese people are good. Audiences in the West are starved of information about China, and they need to hear more. One of the things that's impressive now is that people were very poor, but they work so hard. They're very diligent to feed their families and look after their parents and their relatives. And that was amazing to see. And I think that's something which we don't really appreciate enough in the West. We need to hear more about the breadth of China, the loves, the hates, the successes, the failures. Chinese people tend to be a little bit restrained, difficult to tell me. But if you can do it, I found that Chinese people can be very emotional and very honest and very affecting.
我的爸是2008年的时候走的，那时我是26岁。他走得很突然嘛，那是，一下就晕过去了，根本就是来不及送往医院了。如果是落到现在的嘛，这我们大家到医院也就是40分钟时间，当时是几个小时，没得办法的。他走了那么久了嘛，我这到这里我心里挺难，是吧？哎，真的挺难过。哎，这下了哈。 这是真的遗憾，特别遗憾，没让他好好的消失一天，还是。
The story of Secretary Chung was interesting principally because of Secretary Chung. He was very emotional, was very attached to the community, and very kind, really admirable. He wasn't getting paid a lot. And when Western people see Chinese people being as honest about the difficulties of their lives and their relationships, and I think they will understand them better by seeing real things, they say, oh, they're just like us.
Hello.
Hi, very nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you.
Hello. Very nice to see
I
you.
watch whatever episodes of two of this. Yeah. 你好，
廖彤，大师你好。
你们都一起。
对对对，
一起过来。
对。
好。
So you watched a couple of episodes?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, great.
Good, thank you.
I will use it in this.
Excellent. Yeah, I read your introduction. It was very good. I admire it.
It's in Chinese. You read it?
Well, I read the translation.
Ah, okay.
I think I should have some of these. These are the.
就是我开始介绍完电影之后，还是能在 Q 里，然后他互动。
为此，我们今天专门请来了知名的英国导演科文斯。那么他是2届奥斯卡奖的得主，他现在定居在上海。OK。
China needs to be better understood by the rest of the world, but somehow real understanding is still elusive. I have 2 Academy Awards. I have 4 Academy Award nominations. I will never get another Academy Award if I continue to make films on China. I agreed to do the program because I think it's important that people hear all kinds of points of view. Yes, I mean, I was one of the group of filmmakers who were accused of being pro-China. It's okay, I don't mind. I mean, it doesn't embarrass me or make me feel bad, but it's wrong. And I am for talk about the difficulties and address the difficulties, not this kind of crazy propaganda jihad against China. That serves nobody's interest.
从人出发去讲普通人的故事，您是已经完全抓到了这一点。那是不是对于很多想要讲中国故事的中国的讲述者来说，这一点也非常重要
？It would be far more authentic, different, but more authentic, if Chinese people could tell Chinese stories to the world. Now, more and more talented young people are going into film schools. I hope 5 years from now that there is a whole generation of young filmmakers from China who can tell Chinese stories so that I can take a rest. I don't do much teaching. Whenever I'm asked to guest lecture, I always say yes. So I really want you to be a little brave and a little different to the way you maybe do many classes, because I want you to speak up. And Chinese filmmakers need to hear from foreign filmmakers, because I would like to see the documentary tradition get stronger and more vibrant in China, because I think it will help China. They make a film, but they have. And I think this language of film is incredibly powerful, and so we should speak this language, the language of film, as eloquently and as well as we can. It's always better to talk than to fight, and it's always better to listen rather than argue.